Hey, and welcome to my channel. My name's John and I'm the owner of The Art of Concrete. In this video, I'm going to use the Durock Step 1 Parge Mix to create a stamped bullnose. So this is the Parge Mix here. It's one step ready made Parge Mix. And what I'm going to do is create a stamped concrete finish along the nose of these steps here. All right, let's get started. So what I'm going to do first is just take and water down this sponge and get the surface damp. The important thing when you're adding Parge Mix onto existing concrete, especially new concrete, is that you want to get the surface damp. So I'm just going to take and get this area damp with the sponge. Okay, so with this project here, the concrete is still new. This is a fairly new staircase, and with it we have added a stone gray stamped border all the way around the perimeter of this project. Now, I wanted to add this nice texture. The customer was kind enough to leave the project with me and just trusted me to do something nice. So they left me to my artistic way, and essentially I wanted to give them something they've never seen before. And I wanted to show you guys how I did that. So the surface itself is damp, and now I have some ready-made Parge Mix that I'm just going to go and put on here with a small pool trowel. Now this mix has some fiber in it and its own bonding agent, but I still like to make sure, so I always wet the surface with this type of stuff to get the cement Parge Mix to bond into there. And I'm just going to slowly go along the edge of this here to get it to look really nice, similar to creating like a cut stone finish. That's kind of what I'm going for here. I want that ledge to look like a piece of cut stone, but seamless. So it's one piece that looks like it's laid in there. So that's what I'm trying to achieve here. Okay, so just to make it clear, I'm using a Parge Mix to add a textured finish to an existing concrete entrance that we poured. Now this entrance is maybe a week or two old, and just to give you an idea of the time frame here. So with this type of application, this is more of your, I would consider this advanced finishing techniques. This isn't really something that you can just start off yourself unless you're naturally gifted. Don't get me wrong. I think that there's possibility if you have the ability to do anything, but this is something that's a little tricky, I find, to get that nice and smooth. So some tips that I wanted to show you, just some little details that I like to point out, is you can see me scraping the float along the edge, the top edge of that concrete. So I also run it along the bottom, but you see when I go across the top edge, I'm trying to create that so there's no seam there. It's just a nice seamless texture. So just like that, you see how I go up and over? I'm blending that over, and so the process here is wetting the surface, application, let the application, so the Parge Mix, dry a little bit, and then throwing on some powder release. So the powder release is going to allow the stamps not to stick and also give it the color tone and depth when you're stamping it. And then applying the stamp texture. So in this case, I used a Roman slate texture, and I went along and stamped it. So in the rest of this video, you'll be able to see how I did that. if you live in the Kitchener-Waterloo, Cambridge, and Guelph area, that's our service area. We actually give away a backyard patio package every year. And so you can enter any time of the year. So you go to theartofconcrete.ca to enter. It's 100% free, but you got to live within that area and be a Canadian citizen. And also, guys, if you're interested in learning any of these techniques or something like this, go to my website, theartofconcrete.ca, and click on classes, because we offered limited classes in the fall and the winter season up here in Canada. So go ahead, check it out. I'll also leave a direct link up above for you to check it out. Another little technique here is you see me hit the sponge across the surface, right across the top. That's a little bit damp. So what I'm doing is I'm just blending that surface in a little bit. And I don't know if you can notice, but the existing surface that we did when we were pouring it, that little lip there, so that has a color hardener in it, and I believe that's stone gray with a stone gray color release. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm applying just a regular Parge mix with no color added at all, and essentially I'm just going to add the stone gray stamp powder on top. Now I've done this many times before, and the really neat thing about this is that this is going to blend perfectly, so it's going to look as if this is going to be one little slab on top of that surface, and everything will come together. So one of the key tricks to getting this thing seamless is adding that sponge line, so dampening the little tiny top lip where this Parge mix is meeting up with the existing surface, and just making sure that that's seamless, so it looks like it's connected without any seams. Now this is the last step on this staircase. There was 5 giant steps that are 8 feet wide each, and yeah, this is the last one I'm doing here. So I started to get into the rhythm of doing this. As you can see, this is real time me putting on that Bullnose Parge mix. Okay, so one other thing I wanted to add here is that is the texture of this mix that I'm using, and how critical it is. This is where experience really comes in, playing with concrete, understanding what kind of mixtures there are in terms of touching and feeling the material itself. It's important to get a feel for the material so that you know what you can do with it, and just understand its capabilities. So I'll put a little link up above for that, and the consistency that you're looking for to do something like this, and or even just simply parging textures and the consistency of a Parge mix. So I'll leave the link up above. Okay, so in this part of the video, I'm just going to go through this because it's a little rough. There's some sharp edges, and essentially I'm just going to lightly go through this lip with the pool trowel and get rid of any of those rough areas. So when I stamp this thing, it looks just as nice as the top of the surface. So what I've kind of got in mind as I'm using the trowel is I'm just sort of notching out and roughing up areas. So you can see right there, I just kind of indentate the surface so that it starts to look a little bit like chiseled stone or cut stone, that kind of thing. And there's no real perfect way of doing this. It's just kind of getting it to a consistent look, and then being happy with it, because you don't have a lot of time. You know, like I'm making small decisions and trying to make sure that I'm going to achieve something that's going to be consistent on every step. So really, I'm just keeping an eye on what the other step looks like, even the first step that I did, to make sure that it's the same or consistent. So everything looks good. This is really, really important. I cannot express this because you know, the uniformness of these steps is really going to give the entrance a fantastic feel as you're walking up. Something that's luxurious, bold, and sharp and cut is kind of what I'm trying to do here. Okay, guys, I also offer a online course at theartofconcrete.ca, and this is something you do have to purchase, but there's a lot of information in this course, and it just gives you some more knowledge to better understand to do concrete repairs yourself. Now, this isn't really a concrete repair, so it doesn't really apply, but if you're interested in learning some of that stuff, and you can't travel to Canada or whatever it is, the online course is fantastic. And I also included a few videos and stuff like that for you to check out. Okay, so here we go. I got the stamp powder release. This is a stone gray color, and I'm just going to broadcast it onto that surface, and being careful not to hit the surface at all, just to get a little bit on that surface so that the concrete texture mat doesn't touch it. Now when I'm just taking my hand here, I'm just rubbing and blending that powder into the surface. This is where that seamless sort of effect happens as well, the blending of that edge there. So this here is just your rubber flexible mat with a texture on it, and I'm just going to lightly go through and texturize the nose of the step here. So as I'm doing this, I'm actually just checking to make sure that I'm getting an imprint, you know, on that ledge itself, and then it looks nice. So something that I'm happy with, because once this dries in the next couple hours, this surface is going to be hard as a rock. And in order to even redo this, you have to grind off the surface. And you know, so it's a one-shot deal. Set it and forget it, and you know, that's the main goal with these kind of projects. Okay guys, so thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you liked the video, go ahead and just hit the like button or leave a comment. I'd love to hear your feedback. If you've seen more of my videos, or if you find that you're watching a lot of them, I would love to hear that. And also, I'll send you a hat or a shirt or some stickers as well. So just leave a comment. I'd really appreciate it. And also subscribe and hit that notifications button. Thank you very much, guys, for watching, and have a fantastic rest of your week.